What's up, everyone? It's Decentralize Everything, and I wanted to touch base with you all about the purpose and the direction and the future of this podcast going forward as we get into more longer forms of, podcasting, having conversations, etc. And right now, like myself, professionally, I work on augmented reality and AI, all day, every day. As a hobby, I've been part of this movement, you know, my whole life pretty much that I've been able to engage with it. I've been tinkering with Arduinos, Raspberry Pis, doing everything analog, manually, with Python, and then making all kinds of cool crap and transcending all that into like the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency movement, everything going on with decentralization and then kind of the movement into artificial intelligence. And why I say all this is the craziness of it is the pace right now. Like, even as somebody that's fully plugged in, like I am, all day, every day, like I live it, man. I mean, I got ChatGPT 4 Turbo on my wrist and I talk to it every day and I have it do my podcast. I have it do my content now, right? I have it do like my homework, don't tell, my calendar, right? Call people, text people, ask in-depth questions, relay those answers into my APIs on my computers. That way I can work with these large language modules and interact with them, adjust them, tweak them with prompt engineering, and then have a better output, a continuous better output for my personal and my business gain and other endeavors in life, right? And the crazy thing is, not everybody has the ability to interact with it like that. I mean, you may be getting like 30 minutes from a YouTube video or a podcast on your way to work every day, or you may have a little bit of interaction playing around with it with your friends on the weekend, but not a continuous everyday reaction with it. And the crazy magnitude and pace of AI development right now, we're at the inception of it right now, and it's only going to explode and get faster and bigger as the days go on, let alone the next 6 months. Um, it's so hard to keep track of new products, new technologies, new data sets, everything. New companies are getting involved into the space every single day, and I can't even keep track of it as a professional in the industry, let alone just your average person. But that pace and that exponential growth is only going to affect our lives more and more as we interact with it and we see the validity behind it and what it can do to enhance our lives, and how really you're going to have to interact with it in the future going forward, or you're going to be left in the dust. So this podcast is going to explore the different forms of LLMs and machine learning being built across the world. We're going to focus, of course, on decentralization, censorship resistant, open source, privacy centric, digital privacy, digital ID centric type projects. Decentralized physical infrastructure is a cool thing we want to focus on in the future. And of course, cryptocurrency and carrying on that whole cypherpunk movement, and banks we distrust all the way, right? Screw them. If you're holding on to like in traditional TradFi, system and investments, you're like, oh, I got my mutual funds, I got my stocks, got really good options here, right? Got a couple bonds to be safe, right? Like, dude, you're hanging on to pieces of the Titanic in the cold water as you drift away, right? Like, I don't know why I'm not even going to debate it at this point, right? You're an idiot, but it's gonna hit us so quickly, right? You're gonna either have to participate and utilize it to enhance your life, and fight back against this pervasive technocratic surveillance state, or where you're not gonna be part of everything going on, right? So we're gonna go through all these different models. We're gonna go through like Mistral. We're gonna go through Google's stuff. We're gonna go in Anthropic's Claude 3 release recently that's been kicking butt. Apparently, I haven't got my hands on it yet, but we're gonna test all these different models. Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft has really cool crap. Say what you want. I mean, I don't like Bill Gates, but they have amazing stuff coming out like with AI and already released right now. Like, you can do whole PowerPoints in like 5 minutes, with just ideas speaking to it. It's freaking crazy. I would have killed for that in the military. But yeah, we're going to go through all these models, and the cool thing is I'm going to do interviews, right? Like myself, I'm going to build these different APIs, different LLMs, machine learning programs, and off of these systems, right? And we're going to see how that program interacts with us, what kind of data and outputs, what kind of feedback does it give us, right? Is it censoring it, like with Google, how you can't even like get a historical George Washington without him being black or something? Or like, what is that data feedback going to be? What are we going to get, right? So I want to kind of interview these different systems, right? And I created like a text to voice kind of system here, to where we can use that and kind of speak to it and have it answer back in like a traditional podcast format. So we're going to go through, we're going to dig into like the censorship of these different programs, what they do with their data, how they get the data, how they trust the data. We're going to be asking all these hard questions at these different models, right? Now, the crazy thing is we're sitting on like the precipice of all this. I mean, AI and blockchain, we're setting on the whole world's open access to information and knowledge, right? Now, the question with that is like, is that too fast for our brains to process, right? Like humans have never had all this information constantly coming at us and had to react emotionally, mentally, pragmatically, logically to, answer all these problem sets. But if we're going to get it all thrown at us so quick, are we even going to be able to like mentally adapt to the pace of everything? Like, we're obviously going to be overswept by the capabilities of AI. That's unquestionable. It's undeniable, right? But like, are we physically going to be able to keep pace with everything that we're seeing up here, right? So we'll definitely dig into that in the future. Now, like Nvidia's success, obviously that a lot of that came from cryptocurrency, GPU mining, and then ASIC mining and so forth. But translated, the gaming sector into now machine learning, right? One of the most profitable companies in the world. Nvidia's success and their hold on the data infrastructure and computational energy and power of artificial intelligence, in addition to OpenAI, releasing ChatGPT, the original model. Those are the two things that really punched everybody in the gut. People, once they started interacting with it and seeing its potential. Governments, because they're like, holy crap, like, what do we do to contain this? How do we react to it, right? Our government in America can't even create a basic budget, right? Or any basic form of policy, right? They draft these 20,000 page bills. They don't even draft them. They have policy think tanks draft them. They may read the first summary of the first page, right? And then they all vote on it because they know it brings them money or whatever in the end, whatever the deal, the racket is, right? So our government, they see that this policy shift and this transformation, this power is going to take hold, and they're not going to be able to keep pace with it. But that's where, because we're erring right here on the side of decentralization, on privacy, right, on human autonomous liberty. I err on the side, and I fought and will continue to fight for human liberty in life, right? Now, the thing is, if our government can't even create a budget, and they're that ineffective, imagine how effective our movement for liberty worldwide can be if we appropriately leverage the use of AI. Free-form AI, because again, we're going to have censorship, vast censorship models, and we're going to go into whole episodes on that going forward, and we're going to continuously hold people accountable, hold companies accountable for their models and what they build into the models, such as what Google recently did, right? It's going to bring up a lot of philosophical conundrums between AI created perfection, right? And then human created, right? The creativity, the creative capacity in our souls, in our spirit. Somebody that took 20 years to learn this art or this specific way to shoot an arrow, Japanese Zen, whatever the heck, right? Their passion led them to their entire life, blood, sweat, and tears, right? And all that can be outmatched by AI in like a second. Some of these basic tasks, right? Intellectual tasks, especially going forward, it'll be more manual tasks, increasingly more as robotics are implemented, right? So the crazy thing is, we're gonna have to balance and address the fact that, like, hey, a person made this video right here. They filmed it, they tweaked it, they edited it, they put their voice into it, they edited that, they added the audio, right? Whatever it is, versus a way better video, but it's kind of fake, right? Or it's not fake. I want to say, what is fake at that point? What's objective reality at that point, right? Or the human soul and capacity wasn't put into it. That's the larger question and dynamic. But no, man, I mean, I made a podcast about how future wars are already being fought. Let's be real. There's a reason we have a space force. Undersea power lines, fiber optic data lines are being cut or threatened to be attacked. You would literally cut a country back into the medieval ages if you did that now, right? There's a reason we have a space force, and we all joked about it when we were in the army, right? But like, they are the future. That's how you win a war, is knocking out command infrastructure, communication lines, in computational capacity to solve problems. That's how you're going to win the future wars, right? So they're going to be fought just not only over that, but also just on raw materials, like to build the computers, to build the pieces of the computers, right? And we could go in a deep dive into all that. The materials, the chemicals, these random wars that pop up in Africa. Just look at who funds them, who's behind them, what's there, what they're extracting, and what they're controlling, right? What resource are they controlling? There's a reason, I promise you, right? And it harkens back to like the gold rush, right? You'd be a multimillionaire if you could sell shovels and picks, or you had a little bit of intel on where the gold was up on the hill, right? Or oil exploration, if you had a little bit of intel about where the oil is in Saudi Arabia, or you had manufacturing capacity to make the big old freaking driller, I can't even talk right now, that goes in the ground and extracts the oil, right? And then refine that for consumer consumption, right? And again, wars are still being fought today over that stuff right there, okay? So just imagine the data wars, the wars for the hardware, for the materials, right? For the computer capacity, these supercomputers. It's going to be amazing, man. And then the crazy thing, geopolitically, when you look at all these policies and this posturing with the Navy and countries and everything across the world, and then where, like look at Samsung, look at Taiwan Semiconductor, look at Nvidia's headquarters, right? And Hong Kong, Taiwan, different parts of America, different parts of the world where all this stuff's made.